So now that we've taken the exam, we're going to go over the specific effects of music on mood, stress, and learning ability. So minor chords, as I discussed earlier, are generally associated with more sad feelings. This is also historically backed by Baroque composers Bach and Chopin. So many of their pieces were written in a minor key, and those are often infamous for being associated with like death, sorrow, mourning, very melancholy feelings. Bach was especially powerful in this in his song Fugue in D. I will be playing a sample of that for you guys to hear. This will give you a feel of what minor chords kind of inflicted into the listener. So as you could hear, minor chords and minor keys in songs are often used to like give this creepy kind of like scary vibe almost. It's basically that is an effect on your brain, again caused by the like coldness and discontinuity of the chord. In terms of the opposite of major chords, these became a lot more popular in the 50s through 80s in rock and roll music. And then these, again, are warmer, happier tones. They invoke happiness. The two examples I have, Neil Diamond and Bill Haley, who wrote many different songs in a major key. And then specifically, I have the song Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond to help give you an example of what a major chord song would sound like. So again, these major chords are giving the listener a very happy feeling with their warmness, and then the brass also helps in this, giving a warm sound to the listener. So the major effects of music on the brain are minor chords denoting a sad, scary, or melancholy feeling, and then again, major chords giving this like warm and happy feeling. In terms of stress, music has had a large impact. As a relaxant, it's very interesting. There's this one study by Schneider who took patients and had them listen to various songs and found that the song Weightless by the Marconi Union reduced stress levels in their patients by up to 65% on average. And then this has just been very effective because, again, they're relying on the same things of tempo and chords. Again, the chords giving a warm feeling, relaxing the person, and then also instead of using the tempo as a super slow kind of speed to like make it sad, melancholy, they're keeping it around 72, which is your average heart rate, to calm and relax the listener. Hence why the song would denote a 65% decrease in stress levels. However, as a stress inducer, it is also very powerful. A study found that they had two participants groups which would listen to the same track of a movie, and they would have different soundtracks playing in the background. One would be a documentary soundtrack, and the other would be one of a horror movie. And they found that stress levels of the stress hormone cortisol were much higher in those who listened to a horror movie soundtrack as compared to a documentary soundtrack. Yes?
So I saw a video that was talking about like horror movie music, and it was specifically like comparing generic horror movie music to The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
And The Shining soundtrack was very interesting because like it used very discordant themes, and it like tried to like when it matched up to the visual, like things were always off because like sometimes they had like a jumping sound effect or something in the music when on the visual there's nothing happening, or sometimes there would be a jumping sound effect and there would be nothing in the audio, and it would really invoke a lot of fear in the listener. I'm wondering if, like, comparing that to like modern day horror movies or like generic horror movies, that kind of thing, and just kind of comparing and contrasting those two kind of things, because I know that The Shining was like made intentionally as its own little thing. The other one is like made as it's just like made as to like kind of make you feel slightly stressed.
I understand what you're talking about. So in The Shining, one of the effects, that was actually a planned effect on what they were doing. When they produced the soundtrack, they purposely had the jumps, as you call them, to create this discord, which would basically shock the listener while they're watching the movie, seeing the different juxtaposition between the seemingly calm environment and the music would put them more on edge. While modern horror movie soundtracks generally give this whole pervasive feeling of dread throughout, and it's just a stylistic choice that they chose. Yes?
So, I noticed that you put mainly negative emotion with the example from Baroque music, and you associated positive emotion with the rock and roll generation kind of music with the major chords and minor chords. I would like to know, because personally I listen to a lot of music that maybe surpasses different emotions, or maybe expresses different emotions. Are those still based off of major and minor chords or tempo and that sort of stuff, or is it a different component that's affecting the emotion that's being, I guess, expressed in these types of music?
So you're asking, like, are emotions more complex than just happy and sad, affected by more complex things than just the tempo and chords?
Kind of, yeah. Like you hear like rave music, or even like kind of like something as maybe pervasive as like gangster rap, stuff like angry stuff, or maybe party stuff like that. What are those based off of? Are they still based off of?
Those are also based off of major chords. They're also based off of more syncopated beats, which basically in the song, the accented notes would basically denote a certain pattern that the brain would then repeat and then find more appealing, also provide a sense of a more, I guess, get up and go kind of sense, and more get involved, excited. I feel like that's the kind of experience that is more effective for this one, more percussive genres of music. And then the effects of music on learning are very interesting. If you are a musician, this especially applies to you, but brain plasticity is basically the brain's ability to do high order thinking and high complex tasks. And a study found that those who played an instrument as well, compared to those who did not, did much better on an exam of brain plasticity and high order thinking tasks. And this is tied to the music again, and how their interpretation, constant thinking about it, will tie into more broad tasks in the future. And then music on learning can also be used to apply to cognitive recovery. There was a study on stroke patients after 6 months with those who listened to music and those who did not. And the doctors found that those who would listen to music during their recovery process had recovered cognitively and emotionally more than those who did not listen to music. And then for the final exam, we're going to be covering how music can affect your mood, your learning, and your stress levels, and I'm going to have to ask you to provide an example of each of those.
So why do you think some people are able to concentrate on their work while listening to music? And it's 2 questions, okay, dude. And why do you think some people can actually focus on their work while listening to classical music, or music with words, and people who just can't focus with music with words?
In terms of music, that's more an effect on the multitasking aspect of it, which our previous studies in class have shown that while it is possible, it's not generally effective for those who, on a large scale, to be able to multitask well while listening to music and doing work. For those that do, it generally involves with again, brain plasticity and a better organization of their thoughts and separation of their thoughts.